Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. My co-host is back after a one-day leave. Mr. Abrar Aziz, how are you doing, bro?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing
I
well.
appreciate you giving me a day off.
No, anytime, man, anytime. Thank you. So we miss you, but it's always good to have you back. Delhi abhi dur hai, but kharib, they're getting close on top of the table, man.
Man,
Looking like the best team right now. In terms of bowling, batting, even fielding today, unbelievable. We thought Rajasthan Royals, Sharjah, they might come back and perform well, but one-sided game. We thought 180 on Sharjah. I thought it's below par score. Par is 200, so I thought below par score. But unbelievable bowling. Some middle, like today, the top order didn't perform for Delhi, but the middle order contributed. So there's someone the other always contributing. So your initial thoughts on this game?
absolutely. I mean, Delhi looking strong. I mean, just if you go off just the basic, the Delhi is looking very strong. Rajasthan, we thought got off to a flyer and they've lost four in a row now, which is shocking. And today I expected more from them, honestly, especially like you said, 180 on a Sharjah. I expected them to have their top four really finish it off, honestly. But hats off to this Delhi team, man. They never gave up. They fielded like absolute champions. They bowled like absolute champions. This bowling is going to win them the tournament from the looks of it. This batting is strong, but this bowling is so experienced and so like legit. Because the likes of Rabada, who's a proper T20 bowler, the likes of Ashwin, who uses his mind so well, the likes of Notier, who came out of nowhere and is really performing top level. Akshar Patel is chipping in with the ball. Harshal Patel is doing pretty well. I mean. Yes, he's probably the weaker link in that bowling attack, but they have the likes of Marcus Stoinis and uh, if I think only Marcus Stoinis, but I think they have the likes of Marcus Stoinis to come in to bowl a couple of overs if needed.
Yeah.
So it's like a very solid, settled side, and they're just doing a very good job. It's looking more and more difficult for to beat them, and looks very likely that they might be at least they'll finish top one or two. I think along with
Yeah.
Mumbai, like we discussed.
Yeah, and in the batting order, we thought Hetmai might be the weakling, but today he was the top scorer. He performed really well. They'll be really happy with his performance.
Absolutely, 100%. Like, I mean, just very clean hitting. Yes, it's Sharjah. It's easy to hit it comparatively compared to the other two stadiums. Probably a little bit easier to hit there, but you still have to go out there and do the job. And he did a pretty good job at it. Which what was very interesting was that he got out with 3 overs left, and the score was 149 for six. Even then, after one over of Jofra Archer giving only 4 runs, they still managed to get 184. So that shows that even number 7, 8, 9 can actually chip in at least a Sharjah. The likes of Ashwin, Akshar Patel, Harshal Patel, these guys chipped in with like 10, 20 runs each. That always gives you that little bit extra. Like if your batsmen are trying to hit out kind of in the beginning and they still could make their 185.
Yeah.
And in the end, that was not needed. But at least, that kind of backup, their batsmen at least almost till like 9, 10 can actually are not mugs with the bat. They can at least chip in and maybe help your main partner out if needed. So there's like a lot of positives to take for Delhi from this. Bowling looking strong. The fielding, man, the catches that
Yeah.
Hetmaya took, some two incredible catches. Rabada took a very good catch, and a couple others here and there, except for that one miss that was a very difficult catch from Rabada towards the end. I think everything else they really held on to. So it's pretty legit performance by Delhi, and
Yeah,
more
and
to think for Rajasthan.
yeah, for sure. And if you look at Rajasthan, they actually bowled pretty well. Like, yes, there were a couple of bowlers which were expensive, but Jofra Archer bowled out of his skin again. Picked
Yeah.
up 3 wickets, going with 6 economy. So they bowled decently. Like 180 on a Sharjah pitch, it should have been chaseable. Yes, this pitch was actually is getting slower now, so it won't be. We might not get those 250 scores, 230 scores. But with the dew coming into play, it should have been a closer chase than it was. So they'll be very disappointed, especially with their batting.
100%. I think 100%. Like even this suddenly like a lot like it's starting to look a lot like Punjab. That the top, if you can get the top 2 or 3 wickets quickly, you kind of are in with a shout for Rajasthan. Like then the lower order, the middle order is really not performing. Mahipal Lomra is not really performing. There's literally in Tewatia, he had one good game, but today, even though he scored some runs, but he was not as effective, of course. And they don't really have anyone after, like, I want to say 5, 4, 5, and that's a big issue for them. I mean, Ben Stokes will probably be able to stabilize that for sure, but still, I think there's a lot of issues for this Rajasthan team to really look into in terms of their bowling, in terms of the batting. They just really, I think they seemed like a little bit of an unsettled side. They were looking forward to Sharjah, but they got a whacking in Sharjah too. I mean, yes, of course, against a very very good Delhi team, but it'll start slipping away very quickly if they don't, if, like for Punjab, it will
Yeah.
start becoming very difficult for them to get back in this
Yeah,
tournament if they
yeah, of course.
lose.
Because we keep seeing Ben Stokes is going to come and strengthen them, but like he will also need time because he's been in quarantine for a
Yeah,
couple of weeks and then he hasn't practiced or anything. So by the time he comes and like if he's rusty, it'll take some time to get back into that form. So like by that time, maybe 3 4 games will slip away and you might be at the bottom of the table. So they don't want to
true.
take. They'll need the other players to step up, the likes of Smith, Samson, Butler. Samson in particular, I'm a bit disappointed because the way he started off the tournament was unbelievable. He looked in such good form. And now I don't know what it is, whether it's the short ball or just like false shots. It's not even that like he's getting out. He's getting out so early. Like
Yeah,
at least take some
single
time.
digit scores.
Yeah, like either he scores big when he's in or he gets out early. Like at least maybe he should be a bit more sensible initially and then go because he is such a talented player. So I think he, yeah,
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
I agree 100%. I mean, Samson, we've always been discussing about the inconsistency with Samson. It is continuing to show. He no one's, I think no one's denying his talent. It's just the inconsistency. I mean, two very good games and then four single digit scores almost. So that kind of performance is from your mainstay batsman. Like apart from Butler, Smith, one of the guys that he banks on. I mean, Rajasthan bank on him. So really need to work on that for sure. 100%. There's no doubt about it. He needs to take some more responsibility. Young Jaiswal looked okay, but he needs like to.
He struggled in
He's a little
today
bit
with the run
struggling. He
rate.
seems a little bit out of form, but I think a couple of shots will in his way and he can get back in there. But he needs some support. But I think in general, as a batting unit, they would have been very upset with themselves today. Like some ordinary hitting as well. Like yes, the fielding was good, the bowling was good, but some ordinary hitting as well. Like they could have constructed the innings a lot better. They got unlucky with a couple of good catches that could have on another day been dropped. But credit to Delhi and something to think about for Rajasthan. Some good
Yeah,
catches though. Like I keep thinking Shikhar Dhawan's catch for Butler was also a good one. So all of these keep coming in my mind. It's
yeah,
quite
I mean,
crazy.
catches win you matches. So, and Delhi today
Absolutely.
was superb in the field. Just before I ask you your player of the match, I wanted to ask you why isn't Shane Warne in the dugout? Kevin Peterson brought this up at the end of the game. He's part of the think tank, but he's sitting in the stands. I don't know what his actual role is. He's a mentor or something, but it's like he's sitting with the owners or like with the COO or something, but he's not sitting in the dugout. Someone like him won't be like so helpful to be in the dugout. We've seen like, Ponting help. Yes, Shane was not the main coach, but his presence and his brain, like in between overs in the strategic timeout, in between in the innings, I'm sure that'll help.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're paying someone like him money to be a part of the think tank, you really want him to be out there in the mix of everything. I don't know what there must be some kind of issue he's probably facing. I really don't know, but whatever it is, it needs to be fixed quickly. He needs to come out there and needs to take some charge for sure
Yeah, it'll definitely help
because
with
they are
his.
struggling for sure,
Yeah,
100%.
and he has that insight. Like he's captain some Rajasthan to an IPL
Yeah,
win before, and like he's played the Big Bash. He has a lot of knowledge when it comes to
right.
T20,
Yeah.
so that will help a lot. But yeah, you're a player of the match.
So hard this time. I think it was such a very complete performance. Everyone
Yeah,
took wickets, everyone scored some runs, everyone did like whatever. But I have to give it to the bowling unit. It's just so hard to pick a single person out. Like Rabada, you would give it to Rabada because he picked 3 wickets, but he was expensive. But then
I know who
Stoinis
you
was
would give it to.
economical. So Stoinis was economical, but I gotta give it to Ravichandran
I
Ashwin.
knew you were gonna give it to him because he
He's
bowled.
such a smart bowler.
He
Like
took the main wicket of Butler and he bowled really well in the power play. I think very
absolutely.
impressive.
Absolutely. If I have to choose one of them, hats off to everyone. They all played well. Stoinis two wickets. He was very economical and he gave you a couple of runs with the bat, a few runs with the bat. Hetmeyer had a decent innings, but he didn't finish it off like I would expect him to. So like if you just really have to pick a player of the match, like who really kind of turned it around their favor, was the first 6 overs. They didn't get off to a flyer. He took the important wicket of Butler and he took another wicket later. So Ashwin was incredible today.
And do you think he's a bit unlucky not to play for India in limited overs in the last couple of years? Because I mean,
Uh,
I never thought of him to be in the team like because Kuldeep and Chal were doing so well, but now he's just last couple of years, especially this year in the IPL, even last year, he's proving me wrong. Like he has these variations and stuff, and he's useful in the power play.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I think especially with Kuldeep losing a little bit of form, Chahal and him are a good option, no doubt about that. I just think that Virat, being Virat, he doesn't like the fact that Ashwin can be a little bit tricky with the in the field. I think that's kind of what his
Mm.
issue is, and Virat doesn't like that. You know
As a
that about
fielder, you're
Virat.
saying?
As a fielder,
Yeah.
maybe, but I think that's unfair. I think he's a decent fielder. You can keep him in the ring, and he won't like drop
Yeah.
runs or something. Like he won't drop you runs or anything.
Yeah,
Like
I
he won't.
mean, we don't know how long his form will last till next year. He's going to get older as well. But I
Yeah.
think the last 2 years, he could have played a game here and there for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure, absolutely. At least he could have been there and there about. At least he never was even considered in selection, so it's kind of strange. You're right
Yeah.
about that. But he's a very intelligent bowler. Like I mean, any team, especially in the IPL, any team is lucky to have him, and Delhi are doing that pretty well.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next tomorrow's doubleheader, I just want
Yeah.
to ask you a quick question: Delhi or Mumbai, which has the better bowling attack?
Oh man, that's
Not
so
on
hard.
paper, just in this IPL. Who's impressed you more?
So I have to go with Delhi. Because over there you have three fast bowlers doing a great job, and Chahar and Krunal are chipping in with the wickets here and there. But over here you have two fast bowlers who are doing a great job, and then you have two spinners who are doing a great job as well. So it makes it all that more harder in the middle overs. You know, some Mumbai you can tonk them around for a little bit at least. You know, if one of them have an off day or something, you can expect that you will be able to score a decent score against them. But for Delhi, it just feels like okay, if your bowlers in the beginning and kind of getting hit, you still have the likes of the smart Ashwin, or like a little bit more tricky to face. Now Akshar Patel is bowling those he's not really spinning the ball much, but he's not giving too much room, so it's hard to get him off. So he's bowling smartly as well. He's learning from Ashwin, that's helping him. So I
Yeah.
think that's helping. And then Harshal Patel, I think learning from Rabada and Notia is kind of doing okay as well. So I just feel like Delhi has that slight edge, I think, over there.
Yeah, and the pace, I think Rabada and Nokia are a touch faster.
Yeah,
Bumrah is pretty quick as well, but I think
right.
they're a touch faster in general. So I think that helps a lot as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think Bolt is a little bit slower comparatively, but he swings it around nicely.
Yeah,
So,
with the new
so
ball. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, it is a close pick. But yeah, moving on to the double header tomorrow. The first game will be Punjab versus KKR. Will Punjab win a game finally?
man, law of averages. After a point, it has to be that they have to win one game now. They've lost like five in a row or four in a row. I think they lost the first one, won the second, and then they lost four after. So they really, I think it's
So they
it's
have
going to be
five
so
losses in
important.
total now.
Five losses in 6 games, I think.
I
I'm pretty
actually
sure that's
expected them
the
to
year.
beat Hyderabad because of the law of averages, but they lost that as well. So I mean, another loss and surely they're out of the race, or no?
I would think so. I
Almost,
think so
yeah.
because 2 points. I'm just trying to see if they played 6 games. Yeah, they played six
Yeah,
games and they have only
mathematically
two
it's still
points.
possible, but it'll be very difficult.
Yeah, I think that's with that's exactly halfway mark. If you have only 2 points at halfway, then you need to win the next 7 games, kind of to have that chance to make in the top four. Because the other teams are now with Delhi at 10 points now. They make it. Are they 10? I think they're 10, right? Delhi's at
Yeah,
10.
Delhi's at 10. Yes,
Yeah.
Delhi's
So
at 10,
Delhi
and the
being
rest
at
are yeah,
10
yeah,
and Punjab being at 2, that gap is already starting to go up, right? And the Mumbai and Sunrisers are at 6 each, and even Bangalore's at 6. So it's kind
yeah.
of making that gap starting to fill already.
Mhm.
So it's a little bit tricky. I think they have to win tomorrow to keep themselves in a fighting chance. Then they can afford to lose one or two in the middle again, and they continue to win. But they have to win more than lose, of course. Now
Yeah.
that's just a simple math for them now. But I'm gonna go with Punjab tomorrow. I think Chris Gale to light it up tomorrow. I believe he will start, and Maxwell's form has been a very very big issue for them. He gives you a little bit with the ball, and that's kind of why they probably don't want to switch him out. But you never know. Gale can give you a couple overs if needed. Worst case scenario, but these guys need to definitely maybe try Gale out. I mean, you've tried him not having him, but it's not worked. You go with KL and Gale or top, and you play Mayank at 3. So that doesn't give you too much. Uh, I mean, he gives you a little bit more stability because then Puran can come in at 4, and then at least your top four is a solid top four, and then you can have like a couple guys trying to chip in as well.
Yeah.
But they really need to work on it, and KL Rahul seems to struggle. I can see that pressure on his face now a little bit. It's a little bit unfortunate because young guy, it's hard to have 5 and 6 losses. 5 losses in 6 games. It's unfortunate, but I'm going to go with Punjab tomorrow. I think Gale is going to light it up. I think it's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah, and the KK are blowing hot and cold. Some amazing performances, some poor performances, but they're looking like a decent side. They probably need Russell to click soon, right?
I mean, now is the best time. I mean, they've kind of, like you said, blowed hot and cold, but they've been able to get a couple of games under their belt and they win a couple of games. But now's the time for the big guns to really fire. The likes of Russell, the likes of Morgan. Yes, Morgan's given you a couple of good games, but the likes of Russell, Morgan, Narayan, who's kind of had a decent game, so kind of take that form into the next, and Cummins really to take mantle of the main bowler and continue to do that. So uh, they've been able to. They've been blowing hot and cold because of their star performers either when they have a good game, these guys are doing well. When they have a bad game, the support staff isn't able to really chip in as much. So as soon as your rock stars are having a good game, you're winning the game. So that's kind of how it is. So it's going to continue to be like that. Your foreign players are always the guys who really win you majority of the games. Yes, of course, some very good Indian talent as well, no doubt about that. But especially in teams like KKR, it's these young guys who are just being brought up with these big superstars. So they really need to perform for sure.
Yeah, and your player to watch out for from each team.
Um, Andrew Russell, because we talked about him. I think it's high time. It's high time he performs. Is it in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai?
That's a good
Uh,
question.
I think it's in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's at Abu Dhabi.
interesting. So, so yeah. So
Watch out for Bishnoi and Narayan. I think they'll
Bishnoi,
be.
yeah, Bishnoi, and then Russell. I think because Bishnoi was good even in the last game
Mhm.
in Dubai, he was pretty good. So watch out for him for sure. I think Bishnoi is continuing to impress. One of the few shining lights in this KK in this Punjab team that is really shining, at least at this point. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
it started off with decent batting in KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal, but that's kind of started subside to 2 or 3 games for poor runs for both of them. So that's kind of seems far away.
Yeah.
But Bishnoi continues to impress.
Yeah, definitely. And then the second of the double header is
For your players,
hometown.
you think same guys?
I'm gonna go Narayan and Bishnoi.
Yeah, fair enough.
Narayan and just because it's Abu Dhabi, that changed my mind a bit.
Yeah,
But yeah, but there will be it'll be interesting. But I'm going with KKR just to be a bit different to you. But I wouldn't be surprised if Punjab win just because of love averages.
yeah.
But yeah, and then moving on to the second of the doubleheader, hometown versus Bangalore, uh, CSK versus RCB, Virat Kohli versus MS Dhoni, clash of the two big Indian stalwarts. How do you see this game panning out?
um, so if I just think that the Bangalore touch is over. they, they are done. They are done and dusted. It's over. They fooled us enough. Almost they took us almost halfway through through the tournament, thinking that they'd be Isal Cup Namade. No way. It's done. And Chennai is slowly getting their feet together. So
I
Chennai is
hope
winning
no
this
one's
one.
around you right now.
you know, it's targeted at someone.
But so you're confident that Chennai is going to win. You're backing your
No, no,
home
no, no,
home team.
no, no, no. But I'm just fooling around. But no. But I think it'll be a close game. But I just think that uh, I think I think Chennai won one game. They lost again. So they know what they need to do. They just need to go out there and execute it.
It's
it's
more
just a
of an
matter of.
unpredictable match. I think any result will be okay. Like
Yeah, absolutely. It's
anything can
just
happen because Bangalore, there are weaknesses there, but they've won like 3 games.
yeah,
Chennai, there are weaknesses. They've won but they've lost more. So
yeah.
it could go either way.
The thing is that the Bangalore is winning, no doubt about that. But Chennai is losing due to basic errors, basic fielding errors, basic batting errors. Like they're trying to leave it too late and misfields and run out chances and kind of simple sitter drops and stuff like that. Those are the problems that they're losing with. You're not used to seeing Chennai side like that. I mean, we've come to, in 12, 13 years of IPL. Every time Chennai has played, they've been on top of their game, almost there and thereabouts. I think they've not couple of times only when they've really not made the playoffs as well. So that's a big deal. So this Chennai side, I mean, just look at them like this is a little bit surprising. With Bangalore, you expect them to kind of be all over the place. You expect anything being a result with them, like you can expect anything. But with Chennai, you expect that consistency, and that we haven't seen this year. So that's kind of what I'm thinking that. The likes of Stephen Fleming, who's been a good coach for them, the likes of Dhoni, these guys are really mad. I'm pretty sure. So they really will be doing some real hard talking to the lads and kind of get them up to speed because similar again, if they lose a couple more games here, I think they are kind of going to be starting to get slowly but surely out of contention. So that's going to be the issue. So still very early. They have an extra win compared to Punjab, but they need to also start pulling up their socks and stop making the basic errors. You lose due to some excellent batting or something like that, or some excellent bowling. Fair enough, but if you keep dropping catches and if you keep misfielding and stuff like that, then those are the harder losses to take. So
Yep.
that's kind of what I feel. That I think that they will, if they clean that up quickly, I think they have a better chance.
Yeah, and your players to watch out for from each team.
Um, so I believe Chris Morris is going to be back.
Okay.
So I believe he's going to start. I think Moin Ali, it's unfortunate, but I think he's a very good player, but I think they might not have the place
He's
for
an
him.
amazing player.
Yeah, I think he's an absolutely incredible player, but I think
Uh,
with Udana kind of bowling well now, and then
yeah, no,
the
for
Finch
sure.
kind of at the top of the order, and then you can't replace an ABD, of course. So that kind of gives you that a little bit less, unless they want to remove Finch and then try both these out, which is unlikely. But they have those couple of options. But I think Chris Morris is going to be back, so I want to see how he goes. I think he's an excellent T20 player, but I think he's probably a little bit rusty, and over the past couple of years he's kind of faded off a little bit. I want to see if he can prove me wrong, so I'd like to see him. And I think from Chennai Super Kings, I think Mahendra Singh Dhoni, I want to see if he can really take his batting up a notch and really finish those games for you, which he's been struggling with lately.
Yeah, and if you just look at it like on paper, if you look at the battles and stuff, Bangalore's bowling has been leaking runs and stuff, but they do have the likes of Chahal, which could he could cause problems and Washington, so that they could cause problems for Watson and Faf
Yeah,
on these slower pitches. So if you look at the battles, Bangalore have a slight edge in that way, but then you have Dhoni's experience. You would expect Bangalore's batting to do well, but with this team it's inconsistent. But on paper, it looks like Bangalore have the better side, right? On paper, right now.
absolutely, 100%, no doubt about that. I mean, we've been talking about Chennai and their age being a criteria, and and also this season is one of the rare seasons we've seen them underperform. Like
Hmm.
these big the big experienced guys. It took Watson some time to click. It seems like Dhoni is still struggling. It seems like Dwayne Bravo is kind of blowing hot and cold a little bit. They haven't even tried Imran Tahir yet, which is surprising. And even in the bowling department, Shardul Thakur and Deepak Chahar are doing well, but I think Piyush Chawla got hit around a little bit and he got replaced. And there's those kind of issues that they have. No doubt, Bangalore's a better side on paper. It's just that experience. I think now that they've played 6 games together, they've played a few games now. Now it's time. Now it's the time when the business tournament where you like experience and all these kind of things count, because the pitches are starting to change a little bit. You can see the slowness starting to creep in. So I think these are the kind of pitches and stuff like that Chennai will enjoy a little bit more. Having said that, it's in Dubai, and you saw 200 runs being scored by Sunrisers the other
Hmm.
day in Dubai. So this is a little bit more of a tricky pitch a little bit more of a batting pitch. So there's those aspects as well. But I think that experience will matter, and I think that just a slight edge over Bangalore. Although again, Bangalore, if I think about it, have a
They
lot
have
of experience.
experience as well. Yeah.
It just seems a lot
I
going on in
just
my
hope
mind
that
right now.
I just want you to have a very good weekend. Like, you're my co-host, you're a good friend of mine. So like for you, like I think Bangalore should win. But apart from that, I think either way, like Bangalore look like favorites, but with Chennai you never know. So I think either
Your
result is
players to watch
possible.
out?
Uh, Virat Kohli and no, actually, yeah, no, let's go with Chahal.
Yeah.
Chahal, and for Chennai, Ambati Raidu.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I also like to see how Karan Sharma performs. He performed very well last game. I want to see if he can continue that
Yeah,
performance.
I
I
mean
think that'll
Kohli,
be fun to see.
AB, Dhoni,
You expect this
Faf,
from him.
Watson. These guys
Yeah,
are crucial, but
yeah,
I'm just looking a bit at the different players. But
correct.
these guys will be crucial if they if they perform, then it'll tilt it very heavily on their side. So like the
Yeah,
big stars. So yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's kind of been the norm in this tournament. I think
yeah.
when the bigger stars are performing, it's just becoming very easy for them to have that victory. So
Of
for
course,
sure.
yeah. But yeah, I think we wrapped everything up for
Yep.
today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow, and hopefully you'll be in one piece. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.
Yep. Always.
Have a good night,
Thanks.
man. Thank you.